One thing that's being asked by the readers of Multimedia Journalism, a practical guide, is how you get an article commissioned. So I want to look at that today by taking as an example a piece I'm writing. I'm going to take you through the process from idea stage, sorting out where it should go, persuading the editor to use it, writing it, getting it published. So first of all, you need an idea. One of the ideas that I've been interested in for some time is citizen journalism and the value that it can have for communities. Now, the Tablet has got in their current edition an article about the common good, which is a paper from the Bishops' Conference of England and Wales, and it looks about community, authority and citizen involvement. So what I'm going to try and do is take my piece that I would like to write about citizen journalism, and I'm going to relate it to what the bishops say in that article, in that document, because there's a couple of things that they pick up on which I think I can make work in this context, and I've just got a quote from it here. The article, or the document and the article that the Tablet's written about it picks up on the theme that local institutions which express good citizenship and neighbourliness and which are not beholden to the government form a vital part of civil society. Now that strikes me as being a definition of a good local newspaper or good local news website, and as we know, they are dying out, they are being merged, they're being threatened. So what I am going to aim to do is come up with a pitch which says the Bishops' Conference has said this. I think journalism relates to this aspect of what they've said, and I think that the current situation within local journalism is of concern, and which is a matter that individuals need to start doing something about. And what I hope I can bring into that is the whole thing about hyperlocal sites, about bloggers, about professionalism, about amateurs, and about the role that local newspapers used to play in communities, and one which arguably they have actually ceased to fulfill. So first of all, I've got to come up with a pitch. At this stage, it's probably worth saying a little bit about getting an article commissioned in terms of what the editor is thinking about when your pitch comes to them. And they've got three questions in their minds. Why this, why now, and why you? So first of all, why this? Is this an interesting subject for my publication? So my abstract idea that citizen journalism is an interesting area and that citizen journalism can do good for communities is all well and good, but it needs to work in the context of the particular magazine I'm pitching it for. So as I mentioned, my pitch here is what the bishops are saying about the common good. So I'm going to pitch, my pitch has to take that in. This is the article that I would write for the Tablet. Not a general article for anybody, not the article I might write for The Guardian or for a journalism publication for journalists. This is an article for the Tablet. The why now? What's the peg now? Well, actually it's because the bishops have issued this document which the Tablet is looking at in a great detail. So that's my peg. The peg comes from the news imperatives of the Tablet itself. And why you? Well, now the editor knows me, so she's reasonably prepared to give me a chance on a subject because she knows that I've turned things in before that will be published. But if she didn't know me, why me? How am I qualified to write this piece? Okay, well, in this instance, because I have just published Multimedia Journalism, a practical guide, a book, website and community, which is about the practice of journalism and about how the kind of tools that are available to everybody now could be used by just about anybody with a little bit of practice, a little bit of training, a little bit of guidance. So that would be the why you. Okay, now I've had a response from her on my pitch, and it's positive, but it does make a few points. She says that it's right that local media has collapsed in many places, and it's a grand idea that people could get involved in community citizen journalism. But she goes on to say, won't citizen journalism often end up collapsing? Okay, that's a point I've got to cover. And if so, wouldn't professionals earning a living be a solution? Okay, another good point. And she does go on to the crux of how I've got to try and make this work for her. She says, if this was to work for us as a piece, could you cite, number one, an old-fashioned local paper that has failed and one that has thrived? Yep, no problem, I've got a couple of those in mind. Number two, a citizen journalism project that is doing well. Yeah, I can find one of those. I know the leads. I've got RSS feeds from Talk About Local and one or two other people who are working very well in this area. Third point, which she says could be harder, and she might be right, is find a parish that has got involved in running a very busy website full of news. So I'm going to tackle that first, because without that it's not going to work. So I've put out appeals on Twitter. I've started to do a trawl through the web, Google, and I've also emailed one or two people who've come up on that. And I've started to get some responses back, and I think I'm beginning to get some thoughts. I've just got an email from Hannah Wardrum, who's involved in a site in Bourneville. I've just looked at that site. She turns out to be a recent journalism graduate, and this is something which she's been doing. I think she's going to be a great person to get a quote from about that. But I've asked her, does she know of anything that fits the bill, any kind of parish-based site? And she's come back to me and she said that there is something called parish.org. That she thinks is parish-based. So I've had a look at that, and it does look interesting. It's a very lively site. It's got a lot of news on it. It's also got the Vicar's newsletter, newsletter from the school, loads of stuff. It's being updated all the time with issues such as the ford's out on a certain road, so don't go down it. They're also involved in building a parish community centre. They're building a new hall, and it looks like the backers behind that, or the sponsors of this thing, are the parish council. So it's looking quite promising. I've just got an email back from Nikki Getgood, who works at Talk About Local, and I've run the parish idea past her because I haven't at the moment really got enough information to call the parish people. And she says, yeah, in fact she says the parish.org is an amazing site that really brings the community together. I'm told people go around knocking on each other's doors to chat about what they've read on the site, which is lovely. Well, I've just got off the phone with Mike Atkinson at what I now know is Parwich. So parish looked like the smart way of trying to pronounce it, but no, it's Parwich. And I've had a great interview with him, and I now know that the piece is going to work. He's told me about a bit about the local vicar, who actually has a YouTube channel, and he puts his sermons on it, which is fantastic. Mike's also told me that the church element of the site is very popular. It's about their number 5 on their rate. They've got a number of different categories, and church comes up highly. And that the vicar's very involved, which is great.
I like to do things a bit differently.
Now, I've just been looking at Andy Larkin's videos, and they are very interesting. He's doing something unique as far as I'm aware. He's creating videos which follow the themes of his sermons, and so he's using this medium and the parwich.org website to promote his church, and that strikes me as fascinating and something which fits very much into the theme of what I'm talking about. So I now know I've got my way into the piece. I think I'm going to start the piece by describing one of these videos, this particular one in the background here, which is about the tug of war that everyone faces in everyday life.